Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. It was Latin. It was Latin. An invocation to Mother Mary on this Mothering Sunday. I am honored that you asked me, a bloke, to come and talk about one of my favorite topics, which is the Sacred Feminine, as we honor Mother's Day together. Here's a wonderful take on the Lord's Prayer. O birther, Father, Mother of the cosmos, focus your light within us. Make it shine out through us. Create your reign of unity now, through our fiery hearts and willing hands. Help us love beyond our ideals and sprout acts of compassion for all beings. Animate the earth within us. We will then feel the wisdom underneath, supporting all. Let me say that again. Animate the earth within us. We will then feel the wisdom underneath, supporting all. Loosen the bonds that tie us to our guilt, so that we can mend our hearts' ties to each other. And don't let surface things delude us, but free us from what holds us back from our true purpose. Out of you, the astonishing fire, returning light and sound to the cosmos. Amen. We can all go home now. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God, with God. This is called For a Mother to Be by John O'Donohue. Nothing could have prepared your heart to open like this. From beyond the skies and the stars, this echo arrived inside you and started to pulse with life. Each beat a tiny act of growth, traversing all our ancient shapes on its way home to itself. Once it began, you were no longer your own, a new, more courageous you offering itself in a new way to a presence you can sense, but you have not seen or known. It has made you feel alone in a way you never knew before, Everyone else sees you only from the outside, what you feel and feed with every fiber of your being. Never have you traveled further inward, where words and thoughts become half light, unable to reach the fund of brightness, strengthening inside the night of your womb. Like some primeval moon, your soul brightens, the tides of essence that flow to your child. You know your life has changed forever, for in all the days and years to come, distance will never be able to cut you off from the one you now carry for 9 months under your heart. May you be blessed with the quiet confidence that destiny will guide you and mind you. May the emerging spirit of your child imbibe encouragement and joy from the continuous music of your heart, so that it can grow with ease, expectant of wonder and welcome. When its form is fully filled and it makes its journey out to see you and settle at last, relieved and glad in your arms. It's called For a Mother to Be by the late Irish poet John O'Donoghue. Now, can you hear me okay? Great. The myth of the purely masculine, patriarchal God dies with us. It's our job to ensure that we do not pass this harmful lie on to the generations that come after us. This male-only, short-sighted view of the holy is so damaging to us in our humanity. And it's not even true. It's only half the picture. I take this very seriously. That's why I'm being so emphatic right now. As a minister, I take the way that I describe God, the language that I use, the pronouns that I use very seriously. And I'm going to ask you to join me in making a commitment never to use the word he when you're talking to God with anybody under the age of 50. When you're in your prayers with God, please use whatever language is true to you. When you're with your peers, go ahead. But when you are talking to people under the age of 50, this lie dies with us. It's our work to do. So if you want to join me in that little revolution, please do. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox now and talk more on an even level. I need to preface this Mother's Day talk by naming the fact that there's people in this room, in their computer, who are watching that perhaps did not experience a very good mothering in their childhood when they needed it. And this topic of the Mother God and honoring our mothers is very tender and painful. And if that is you, there is a healing, there's a hidden resurrection that we can all do, which is give away the thing that we so desperately needed. Healing is possible. My hope is that us, in exploring God as mother and honoring our mothers and the mothers among us, that healing may come. An example of that, I would say, is the wounded healer of my father. My father was definitely the more gentle parent in my household. That's quite common in Scotland. We've got some fierce women. Love them. And my father's mother was schizophrenic, undiagnosed. And she lived behind a wall of glass. Emotionally, you couldn't reach her. My father was never mothered. Not emotionally. I'm sure his mother deeply loved him, but wasn't able to express that or connect in that way. My father was abundantly loving to me. And I asked him, how did you learn to parent a mother? And he said, I had a very loving father. So if you have the wound of a mother that was emotionally immature or mentally ill or just resented you for whatever reason, that doesn't stop us from giving away the mothering that we so desperately needed. And I just want to say, I don't know how you parents do it. I am childless. I don't know how you do it. That Corinthians, that I am patient, I am kind, that seems to me like the first decade of having a child, there's no space for self. And in the second decade, yourself is completely annihilated over and over again. I am in awe of the fact that you birthing and parenting and fathering and mothering people do this. Can you just stand up if you are a parent or if you have nurtured a child? I bow to you. Namaste. Thank you. Whew. And I also want to name how painful this day is for those among us who were parents, but their children died. Miscarriage, suicide, whatever, there is no greater pain than that. And my heart is very strongly with the mothers and the fathers who have lost their children. And I want to say that those, mostly mothers, that I have met are my teachers of how to love. There's something about their awful path that is a gift to the rest of us to model what resurrection really looks like. I'm going to try not to get teary right now. A wise teacher for us on Mother's Day is Julian of Norwich. Have you heard of her? 14th century mystic from England who survived the bubonic plague, that plague, the Black Death, where 50% of the population died. That was her time. Great teacher for us in a time of pandemic. Julian said, "The universe is held together by love, and that anything that exists only exists because God loved it into being. Otherwise, it could not be." Rumi, the Persian poet and mystic, said, "Love is the bridge between you and everything else." Now, I'm fascinated by these descriptions of love and the gravitational force that holds life together on this earth. One thing I am sure of from watching both people and creatures is that sentimental, romantic love, the feeling of love, is only part of the picture. There's this force that can keep people alive in Auschwitz. Or, you hear stories of mothers ripping car doors off that are locked to get to their children trapped inside. There is a transcendent force that I think of as akin to gravity that holds all life together. And I'm fascinated by this. I probably always will be. So love is a force of connection, belonging, a oneing. And it's not bound by time and place. Question for us, and I'm going to repeat it for folks on the Zoom. What qualities of God as love, right? So if God is love, what qualities do parents demonstrate that we can use to learn about the nature of God? What are the qualities of a mother that are loving? Shout them out and I'll repeat them. Patience. Absolutely. I was hoping somebody would say that because I was listening to The Mother by Brandi Carlile. It's a wonderful song. Does anybody know it? She says, "I am the mother of Evangeline. The first thing she took from me were selfishness and sleep. She broke 1,000 heirlooms I was never meant to keep. She filled my car and life with color, canceled my plans and trashed my car. But none of those were ever who we are." It's a fantastic song. It's called The Mother by Brandi Carlile. Yes? Sense of humor. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know if he survived without that, actually. Protectiveness. Absolutely. Generous. Where was that? Yes, absolutely. Endurance. Mm-hmm.
Unconditional love, no matter what you do, they love you.
Mm-hmm. Unconditional love, no matter what you do, they love you. And there was something I wanted to say about that. My word for that probably is compassion. And I want to just point out that the word compassion has the word womb hidden in it. The Hebrew for compassion and the Arabic, the root word is womb. I was leading worship yesterday, and there was a man who recited the Quran, and he opened it with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which means in the name of God, most gracious and most compassionate. Often when the Quran is recited, it's sung, but it's often invoked with mercy, this compassion. But that links to the word womb, unconditional love. I'm going to add one, ability to keep the heart open, which is linked with that. Because you wouldn't do it if it wasn't your kid. There's no way you could do it. Any others before we move on? Yes, please. Humor. Yes. Yeah. I totally didn't think about that. I get awfully serious. And I'm not a parent, so thank you. Transcending your own suffering. Forgiving. Role modeling love. The role model of love, I love that one. Sometimes I will worship with Episcopalians, and they say, we love because God loved us first. We love because God loved us first. I really like that. And Julian of Norwich, talking about endurance, which is one of the things you shared, her words were, all shall be well, and all shall be well. And just in case you missed it, all manner of things shall be well. Julian of Norwich said, as truly as God is our Father, so truly God is our mother. Who else but a mother would break herself open and pour herself out for her children? Who else but a mother would break herself open and pour herself out for her children? Only God could ever perform such a duty. Not only that, Julian says that God, as a mother, is available to us at all times, and especially present in our darkest hours. I've been learning about Julian of Norwich for a while now. There's a wonderful teacher called Mirabai Starr, and she has a modern translation of Julian's Old English. Julian, that wasn't even her name. We don't know her name. She was an anchorite. She lived in a little walled-in garden and room that was attached to St. Julian's Church in the city of Norwich. And she lived in this little apartment with a cat and bees for about 20 years. And it had 2 windows, and one of the windows opened into the church where she could get communion and go to Mass, and the other one opened to the street, and she had business hours, and people would come for spiritual direction and guidance and give her things. A remarkable story. Now, Mirabai, who has spent a lot of time and is able to translate the Old English, which I am not, she has a lot of wisdom to teach. But let me tell you about Julian's story. So Julian lived in the bubonic plague, and when she was 30, she said she had nothing more to live for. Now, probably her partner, her husband, and children died. 50% of her family would have died. And she was dying. She had an illness, and she was on her deathbed, and her mother called for the priest, and the priest put the crucifix in front of her eyes and said, look at Christ on the cross and go straight to him in your last breaths. And that's what she did. She focused her eyes. She was going numb. She was paralyzed from the waist down. She focused in on the crucifix. Everything disappeared except for a light around Christ. And then she had a near-death experience. She didn't die. In that near-death experience, Christ came alive and spoke to her and loved her and gave her 17 pieces of wisdom. And one of these pieces of wisdom was that Christ is a mother. Right, let me find it. I'm getting so excited, I'm not even reading my notes. Yeah, Christ is a mother, our mother, the universal, unconditional mother God who breaks herself open and pours herself out for love of her children. So that's Julian's words. Mirabai puts a modern slant on it by saying, "You are exactly right, exactly as you are. There is not anything about you that I, as your mother, would wish to change. And yes, I know you mess up sometimes. That's baked into the cake of the human condition. And you're going to miss the mark," the literal translation of sin. "And when you sin and do mess up, then you suffer the consequences of missing the mark. And it feels terrible, and you have to adjust and make reparations for what happened. It's a consequence of the human condition. So why would I, as an unconditional loving mother, then later in some afterlife punish you for what you have already suffered in this life? I love you, and I know that you will come home to me." Julian has some very interesting teachings on sin. I need to study that a bit more before I talk about that more. Another thing that Christ said to Julian in her near-death experience is, it's not that you won't have a hard time. It's not that you won't suffer. It is that you will not be overcome. So when she says, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well," it's not a sugar-coated, this life is really good. I mean, this is a woman who probably her children had died. You will not be overcome by the suffering of the world. Wow, that's something we need to hear. Because so often we do feel undone and overcome. Another teacher of our times, actually a friend of Mirabai, is James Finley. He used to be a monk and then got married and became a religious education teacher and a philosopher and a therapist. And now he teaches about the mystics. He says, God protects us from nothing, but inexplicably sustains us in all things. God protects us from nothing. Now, maybe it'd be helpful if I say that James Finley's father was a raging alcoholic that beat them really badly. He had a horrible childhood. God protects us from nothing. Nobody came and saved James Finley. But in that process, a faith opened up a place of divine union with Christ that saved his life. In my life, in my community, as I respond to things in the world and the people that I love, I find it very helpful to have an image of God as mother. It helps me keep my heart open. There are many situations I find just too painful. And I feel myself covering over my heart. And then I think of Mother Mary at the foot of the cross. She didn't go away. And then I think of the mothers with children who have cancer, and the parents and the fathers that stay at the bedside. Nothing will take them away. I am here. I'm here with you, darling. I'm here. No matter how painful, they will be there 100% of the time. And I remember this is how God responds to us in our suffering. And I want to join that. I want to send prayers out to people who are suffering. But me as an individual, as Simon Ruth, I shut down sometimes. But God as a loving parent, whether you use the word God the Father or God the Mother, can really help us open our hearts. And I have a devotion to Mother Mary. You heard me singing Ave Maria. I sing it a lot. My mother often asks me, why do you sing that weird Latin song? It's part of how I greet my beloved God. And I find that this image of Mary or the Divine Mother, Christ as Mother, which is a new concept for me, I find this so helpful because I was given by my culture an absentee, potentially grumpy, definitely fickle male god that lived in the sky that will punish you the moment you do anything wrong. And it helps me rest in the fact that I know that that's not true. That's not how we are, let alone how God is. I think of that angry, judgmental Father God in the sky. I don't believe in that. I understand atheists. They've got a good point. God is love. And there's something about Mother God which helps me open my heart and love right in the midst of humanity and all that we get. We get so many things wrong. I get so many things wrong. Maybe it would be helpful if I explained this in song, huh? There's a song that I was asked to learn called Requiem, which was written after a tsunami by Eliza Gilkinson. Mother Mary, full of grace, awaken. Mother Mary, full of grace, awaken. All our homes are gone, our loved ones taken. Taken by the sea. Mother Mary, calm our fears, have mercy. Drowning in a sea of tears, of mercy. Hear our mournful plea. Our world has been shaken, we wander, our homelands forsaken. In the dark night of the soul, bring some comfort to us all. Oh, Mother Mary, come and carry us in your embrace, that our sorrows may be faced. Mary, fill the glass to overflowing. Illuminate the path where we are going. Have mercy on us all. In funeral fires burning, each flame to your mystery returning. In the dark night of the soul, your shattered dreamers, make them whole. Oh, Mother Mary, find us where we've fallen out of grace. Lead us to a higher place. In the dark night of the soul, our broken hearts you can make whole. Oh, Mother Mary, come and carry us in your embrace. Let us see your gentle face. Mary. Requiem by Eliza Gilkinson. Khalil Gibran says that our capacity for joy and sorrow are mirrored. Right? I just took us to an incredibly painful place. But I want to also say that that is half of the humanity, and the other capacity is to really be joyful and loving and show up fully alive for other people and ourselves. It's a difficult task, but that is our full humanity. And you all reminded me that an important ingredient is humor. So I'm going to end with a very humorous story. It's one of my favorite spiritual stories. It's been attributed to many people, including Henry Nouwen. In a mother's womb, there were two babies. And the first baby asked the other, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" The second baby replied, "Why, of course. There has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what will be later. Nonsense, said the first baby. There's no life after delivery. What could it be? I don't know, but there will be more light than there is here, and maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat from our mouths. The doubting baby laughed. This is absurd. Walking is impossible, and eating with our mouth ridiculous. The umbilical cord supplies nutrition. Life after delivery is to be excluded. The umbilical cord is just too short. The second baby held his ground. I think there's something, and maybe it's different than it is here. The first baby replied, no one has ever come back from there. Delivery is the end of life, and in the after delivery, there's nothing but darkness, anxiety, and all this talk takes us nowhere. Well, I don't know, said the twin, but certainly we will see Mother, and she will take care of us. Mother? You believe in Mother? Tell me, where is she right now? The second baby calmly and patiently tried to explain, she's all around. It's in her that we live. Without her, there wouldn't be this world. I don't see her, so it's only logical that she doesn't exist. To which the other replied, sometimes when you're in silence, you can hear her, you can perceive her. I believe there is a reality after delivery, and we are here to prepare ourselves for when that reality comes. Thank you for listening. Please take what was useful from what I shared and throw out the rest.